I try to write a song for Romulus, but there's not much to it. It's a soft reboot of an alien film influenced by the greatest hits. There's not a lot to sink your teeth into outside of some stuff in the opening bits. So this will be a song about Romulus, but inspired by other shit. So how was your week? Did you do anything cool? Was the stores packed? Kids are getting ready for school? Did you get any rain? Did you mow the yard? Did you see any matches on last week's SummerSlam card? Did you go to the movies? Did you see Superman? Was it as good as Snyder's flick? Or are you James Gunn's stan? That's all they seem to argue about on Twitter. Personally, I don't give a damn, but yeah, I try to write a song for Romulus, but there's not much to it. It's a soft reboot of an alien film influenced by the greatest hits. There's not a lot to sink your teeth into outside of some stuff in the opening bits. So this is a song about Romulus, but inspired by other shit. Did you see South Park? They really gave it to Trump. How about Fantastic Four's box office? Can the MCU get out of their slump? NFL preseason starting back up. I probably won't watch, but go Broncos. Have you binged anything good? I'm currently on season 3 of Sopranos. I woke up yesterday morning, got myself some Hot Wheels. They were discounted Star Wars ships, what a steal. Did you hear about that UFO headed to Earth? Man, that shit is wild. You think something like that would have been totally X-Filed? But yeah, I try to write a song for Romulus, but there's not much to it. It's a soft reboot of an alien film influenced by the greatest hits. There's not a lot to sink your teeth into outside of some stuff in the opening bits. So this is a song about Romulus, but inspired by other shit. Fuck you, author.
What is up, everybody?
I'm sorry. See, Shifty, that was good. Because I said you're like sitting there going, I can't write anything. I said, well, there's your start right there. And that was awesome. That was really good. I liked that one. It's like talking about everything, but which is kind of how this movie goes. We'll wait on that, but let's go ahead. I'm sorry, Austin, I talked.
No, you're good. You're good. I was actually going to say before I actually started was that might be my favorite song so far. And it's not even talking about an alien movie. It's just talking about anything but Romulus, which, funnily enough, yeah, that adds up. Anyway,
the movie's not bad. It's just.
No,
it's just there.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when we talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Osnator. We are at the quote unquote series finale of these roundtables. Because guess what? Guess what's next week? Alien Earth, and despite some of the obstacles we faced, we are officially at the finish line with the last Alien movie to talk about.
Well, we're at the midway point because we got to do Earth.
Well, when talking about the Alien movies, it's the series finale for now until the Romulus 2 sequel comes out, probably. But yes. The Alien Earth roundtables will start next week, but we are going to be talking about Alien Romulus tonight, the most recent Alien movie to come out. this is like the song said, is a soft. It's a not really a follow up to Covenant, which kind of sucks. And it's just kind of doing its own thing. But before we begin, a fellow person was not here last week to talk about a movie he so desperately wanted to talk about. So before we get into the main event, which is, I don't know, it's kind of like a subpar main event in all honesty. It's not something I think people would pay. I don't think people are very excited for it, but I'm going to let Chris Knight, the Real Review 3000, talk about his thoughts on Alien Covenant.
Yeah, okay. So I really wanted to be here last week, and I wasn't able to be. So that's what happens when you work and own a business and all that fun stuff. But Alien Covenant tries to be both a sequel to Prometheus and a prequel to Alien, which is kind of thinking about like I don't know. It's kind of like seafood and barbecue at the same time. It's like both very distinct flavors, but they don't go well together. It's like you're trying to serve a purpose of continuing a story that was told in Prometheus, but at the same time knowing that somewhere in this movie we have to start trending towards Alien because we promised something. And that was a very difficult thing for it to do. Now, there's a lot of philosophical stuff in it. And again, I think that between the philosophical, the sequel, prequel, and eventually wanting to get to your xenomorph chaos stuff, it was very difficult to handle all those things. And then you add in the studio interference. And basically what you get is a film that is visually stunning, thematically ambitious, and just narratively comes out uneven. It's just very difficult to follow all the things going on at one time. And I think that was difficult, and probably not so much for Ridley. I think Ridley knew what he wanted, but he didn't edit the film. So the editing kind of gets in the way of the storytelling at times and things like that. And it feels like two movies kind of shoved together. And again, that makes sense because it's a prequel and it's a sequel. And again, that's very difficult. We saw it. You see it with Star Wars. Exactly what's going on. You see it with Star Wars. We're not going to talk about the sequel films, but we're going to talk about the prequels and the original films. It's not like Lucas went in and said, I got all this stuff to talk about to let people explain what's going on right now. So I got to put that in one of these movies somewhere. He didn't. He just said, listen, we're going to start right here and go. And then he went back and told the full beginning, which helped. We already knew kind of what was going to happen, but it helped explain a lot of what goes on in the original story. So let's try to do literally all of that. Because again, we have that many movies of Alien, and they tried to sandwich all this stuff, tie beginning to future, all right here with quote. And you really can't. It's tense, existential, and it seems at times it's more about the artificial intelligence than it is about the aliens or about how we get to the aliens. And it's a monster flick at times, but it's like it'll go along and then all of a sudden it's like monster flick or alien film that remembers, wait, hold on, I'm supposed to jump scare you someplace. And it doesn't. So the jump scares in this movie don't really hit the same way as it does in other movies. I think the pacing's better in Covenant than in Prometheus, which it's not like there's a huge difference or it goes like a huge, place. Covenant is a little bit above Prometheus in pace. It's like they figured out a little bit of that. I liked Michael Fassbender again. His performance in this times two is very good. I liked the split personality-ish way that they did that. And he does a very good job of portraying two different androids in it. Walter and David. The flute scene is a bit of the weird tense feeling. It's like all this craziness there. And I'm sorry, these are my likes really quick. The visuals and the atmosphere, again, Ridley Scott just knocks these things out of the park. I mean, really, if you want, I'd almost say that if they were ever try to bring back silent films, Ridley Scott's the only director who would really be able to pull it off. Because sometimes if you mute a movie that he does and just watch it on mute, it's amazing because what he can get out of the lens of camera is beautiful. Creature design, again, very well done. Again, should be by this point, but I still see missteps in it at times. This one, they hit it on point. War was pretty fun. I think the neomorphs are unsettling and feral, but they're vicious. So I liked that part of it. The philosophical depth of this movie is good. I like philosophical movies, and I hate to tell people this. Like sometimes when they say, "Oh, I don't like that movie," I don't like to go the route of saying, "Well, perhaps it's just above your head." That makes it sound like I'm telling you you're stupid. I don't think that's the way this is. I think it takes a lot more time to figure it out. You want to make sure that you watch this type of movie multiple times to fully encompass what's really going on, what's the story and the message that's being told to you. But I like those movies, so that's why I really did like Covenant. My dislikes, again, I think we brought this up with Prometheus. The crew, the supporting characters are kind of thrown away. They're just kind of there. And I find that surprising coming from Ridley Scott, especially with Alien, the way the Alien was. You'd think that he would be able to pick people that really worked and played off of each other really well. And I'm not sure if he really pulled that off. They make, I don't know. It's just the way that they do things. Sometimes it's like such a plot device that they do stupid things like remove their helmets where they remove them, or they make the questionable decisions. It's like a bad horror film, like, dude, don't go in the locked room without without a flashlight. Or, okay, guys, we have a banana, a flashlight, and a gun. What are we going to take with us? The banana, in case we get hungry. That's like some of the decisions in this movie. It's like, what? What? Anyways, the pacing and tone shifts. I said it's better. All that's better. But at the same time as it's a like, it's a dislike because it's still not done very well. It alternates between slow and philosophical, then monster attacks, and it's just all over the place. And that's a very Whiplash type of a feeling. And I think we talked about that a little bit with Prometheus too. And I want to say, did we talk about that with Resurrection? What's going on, Basco? Good to see you guys. Appreciate you coming by.
Scar, what's up? What's up?
The third act is very predictable. The twist was like, let's see here. I've watched how many sci-fi films over the past, 40 years of my life or whatever. It's just predictable. The switch of David and Walter, it's like we knew this was coming. At least I thought so. I don't know what you guys talked about last week.
But it paid off though.
Yeah, it did. But it's still predictable. Listen, payoff is fine, but it isn't always just only payoff. Because, yes, it's very important when you're going to throw in a shift or a twist that it pays off. But at the same time, you don't want to see it coming, like a straight line to a freaking, a straight line. You don't want to be looking down the road and go like, hey, look at that. There's a train coming down here. Maybe I should get out of the way. That's literally how that was.
I don't know how you could get around that, though, because
I get your point, but again, this is the things you're supposed to think about. Whether or not, again, I didn't hate it. It's a dislike because it's like, okay, again, this movie, and I'm going to kind of break away from dislike because I have one more that I'm going to mention, but this movie, Covenant, God, it had so much potential. and they did so many things to really cut away that potential. What's her name from Prometheus?
Elizabeth Shaw.
Yeah, thank you. I can't remember if the original cut, did they show her dead in that one, or did they just kill her off?
There's that what we watched was the original cut. They just completely pulled the scenes out
That's
and
right.
left it for
I've
the
seen the
extra
scenes where
material after. Yeah.
yeah, and I can't remember if they did the director's cut. They think they
No.
did, 'cause I seem to remember,
No.
or maybe I made one so it fit
Well,
in there.
everything you're remembering was extra scenes that they released as the
Okay.
transmissions David did after the
I
movie,
just
which
don't
was stupid.
like. Yeah, I don't like the fact that you make such a big deal out of a character.
Uh-huh.
You end a movie with that character, and then all of a sudden you're just like done.
Hicks
It's
and
like,
Newt. Hicks and Newt.
yeah, it had that feeling. It's like, I think Alien 3 would have been much better had they had them in it. And yes, we know contract problems, the schedule problems. People didn't want to act. People didn't want to come and play. I don't know. Whatever the reason, you make us want to care about a character, or the intent of a character being a main character in a movie is to care about them. You make us care, or I cared about her character in the last movie. She's not quite Ripley-esque, but she's the Ripley of the movie. And then you throw her out. It's like that it makes no sense how you and again, to the point of the directors and the studio with Alien 3, the reason why Hicks wasn't going to come in is they were going to switch to him being the main character, and perhaps they were onto something there by not making him the main character, because here we are, main character, and you take her out of it like they were talking about doing with Ripley in 3, and it doesn't play very well. So maybe they were onto something there. They should have killed him off. I'm just saying.
Yeah, what they should have done is they should not save that stuff for the those clips that they released after the film. They should put all that stuff in the movie, extended it a bit to where, when David's telling Walter what happened, they should have just cut to an extended flashback of him terrorizing her and killing her, and then doing experimentations on her and the alien and stuff. They should have went full bore on that, because
They should have.
Austin and me agreed last week that once they get to the temple, everything is. That's when the film really loses its footing. Everything up to that point is great, and then when they get there, it's so poorly edited, and they don't know where they're going with the story, and it's just a mess.
The last thing is the Xenomorph screen time. We know that the Xenomorph's going to be in. Again, they promised us the prequel sequel. The Xenomorph should have been in at least 2/3 of the way through, if not halfway through, or some nod. And when I say nod, I don't mean, hey, we know it's going to show up. Not that. Literally, it was a pod or something that let us know it's coming. It felt rushed.
Mm-hmm.
And for a film that has Alien in the title, it spends a lot more time on the android drama. Really, that's kind of one of the worst parts about this movie. While I like that aspect of it, that's not what the movie's about. You have Alien in the title. If they just called it Covenant and called it, the sequel to Prometheus with a tinge of a prequel, then I might have thought at the end that's where we're going to see the Xenomorph. When you put Alien at the front, it makes me think we're going to get to that a lot quicker. Maybe just me, maybe not. I don't know. My final thoughts on this: Alien Covenant is gorgeous. It's unsettling, and at times it's brilliant. It's done very well, but it's also frustrating, very frustrating and baffling at times. Gives you taste after taste of the original Alien, great moments at times. Then it pulls back to have the android poetry in it. It's like, I don't get it. It's like there's places and times when it would have worked, and it's just like they missed those points. It's like, I don't know if you've ever heard somebody sing karaoke, and I don't mean like really bad karaoke or really great karaoke. I mean that guy that can kind of sing, but he's off on time on the song. You know the song so well, you hear it, you know where the words are supposed to be, but he's like a second ahead or a second behind. If you've ever heard that,
Yeah.
that's kind of how this movie is. It's like, man, you know the story, you know what we're talking about here. I can hear it, but you're just either really just a bit early or a bit late, and that's just takes you out of it so much. It's an ambitious bridge between Prometheus and Alien, but it tries so hard to balance the philosophy with the horror, and it doesn't satisfy either very well. It just gets right there, and it's like, nope, not enough. I gotta say this though, it's a must watch. If you're gonna go through all the movies and say don't bother with this, don't bother with that, this one I still say is a watch it. It's still a watch it movie, and not just because I think it's worth the time. It's also because it's Ridley Scott doing it. That's why this movie does it well. Same thing with Prometheus. Though the only reason why these two movies even get where they go is because of somebody like Ridley behind it. Because even fighting the studio and these things, he got across most of his story and most of his vision. Again, Fassbender's performance, and again, Ridley Scott. What more do you want to say? My grade for this, accounting for everything, like the story, the acting, all that stuff, it's a B. It's a flat B. It's watchable, very watchable for fans. I'd say watch it. It feels like Alien in a way at times. And again, like all Ridley Scott stuff, gorgeous, just beautiful. Again, if you want to watch a movie on site, like muted, like, I don't know, go buy the soundtrack or get the soundtrack on Amazon or whatever, wherever you get your music. Get the soundtrack, put it on repeat, and when you start the movie, start it and just do it. And maybe it won't work, maybe it will, I don't know. But just kind of that silent film thing, I think it works. I think Ridley Scott would do wonderful with it. Yeah, I mean, that's I still go say that it's a movie trapped between two identities.
Yeah,
Too much was asked of the movie.
that was kind of my biggest issue with Alien Covenant is like I will say I admittedly liked it more than Prometheus for a lot of different aspects, but I think that's kind of my biggest issue though, Chris, is that because it's trying to be a sequel to Prometheus and trying to incorporate the alien aspect to it, it kind of loses a lot of what could have been. Like, I think if it was just either a flat out, honestly, I would have preferred it if it was just a more flat out sequel to Prometheus at times, because
go ahead.
Because there's a lot of things they don't really explain after, like the whole engineers, like the things that they were introducing, they don't go back to that.
I think that the right tone with this movie is because we go on the ship in the first Alien movie with the giant, engineer or whatever that's supposed to be. I think
Space
it's a mix between but it's a mix between an engineer and an alien. I always felt after I watched this movie, I'm like, that's like the middle point of going from this to this. I think if they had, again, take out the alien in this, just call it Covenant, because they made very perfectly clear that these two movies were tied together. I would just call it Covenant. And therefore, we don't get the feeling that because we've tagged Alien onto it now, that we're going to get this heavy dose of Alien in it. That's what I think the big problem was the packaging of it. But then at the very end of this, you get to the scene, you lean to the scene where you see the ship crash, and that's what the crew in the movie Alien And the Nostromo, is that it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
that was going to be a whole movie though. That what he was
I
planning was
understand. But
yeah,
at this point though, that's what you should have done. Just let's get from there to there. And that's enough of a prequel. Just that last 10, 15, 20 minutes or whatever would have worked still had we just not said Alien. Because when you put Alien in front, they didn't do it with Prometheus. So
yeah,
nobody really expected even the Dent, the one that's in Prometheus, the
deacon, like
Deacon.
a
Thank you.
church deacon.
Yeah, yeah. I always want to say Deaton or Denton or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know, whatever. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show thing. No, nobody expected that. So when it showed up, it was a welcome. Like, all right, that's cool. So just calling it Covenant, anything we get that's reminiscent of the aliens or the gore or the jump scares is just gravy then. Because we're not expecting it. You just
Yeah.
leave us on a wow, I feel cool. It feels cool because we got to see some of this stuff go. And then if you just give us that ship at the end, that's all the tie-in you need for Alien. It's all you need. So it's like they just didn't know. And I'm not sure. I don't think I can blame that on Ridley Scott, but maybe we can. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, thank you for letting me do that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the first Covenant, actually, until they get up to the temple, I think that's the best Alien, anything outside of Alien Isolation that we got since '86. I love the Neomorph stuff. I love the Neomorph stuff. That was so great. And we'll probably never see them again because they're so tied to that planet and what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But that film, I also love the ending. The ending is great. Even though you saw the twist coming, the reveal to Daniels when she goes into hypersleep, and the ending where he's going through, the colony people that's hanging up there. That's great, and it's set up. You want to see where it was going after that. But I mean, this film, I look at it a little bit different. I think the stuff with David and the robots was actually really needed because that film, you really get a sense, and they're going with two storylines through this prequel, the series. One is David becoming a mad scientist and ultimately a god, and then you have each movie setting up one stage of the evolution to the xenomorph. You had the Deacon, which brought into all of the face huggers and stuff, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
the actual face hugger stuff where he implements like the human genomes and the insects and stuff into that stage, and we get the
Does it
protomorph.
surprise you?
We get the
Does it
protomorph.
surprise you? Yeah. Does it surprise you
But the
though that?
protomorph.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, does it surprise you so much that basically they blame this on the androids? That's where this broke out. Like it had been kind of squelched in a stasis. When they come up in Prometheus and find the ooze and all that different stuff,
Uh-huh.
it's in a stasis. And then
Yeah.
David comes and says, wonder what I can do with this. And he's basically
Yeah.
the guy that starts it all. I mean, so
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? That we kind of, it's this whole God playing thing. Because, like the line he puts in Prometheus, he says, what do you think, how would you feel if you went and found your maker and they said, I did it because I could?
Yeah,
Because that's what he does. He
just
does it because he can.
Yeah.
And which, to your point, would be even more of the reason why you bring the stuff about Shaw into this one. Because then it makes more sense that he's playing God.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they should have kept some scenes with Shaw in there to really drive home the mad scientist.
This goes
aspect
back
of
to
it.
the thing that I would like to work with people like you and Nick Austinator and several other people and take the movies with the deleted scenes and find the place where they make the most sense and stick them in there and cut and paste and then make a full-on proper version.
Yeah, but I really liked it that they had a not a xenomorph but like a protomorph in that movie where it didn't have the exoskeleton fully developed on it, and that it's that was coming with the one of the following movies where the engineers were going to come back, and one of those was going to give birth to a proper that it was going to lead to the ship crash, and that one giving birth to it, and it was going to take the biomechanical exoskeleton off of the xenomorph to where it would be a fully formed xenomorph creature there. So they were just layering the steps up through each one of these movies to get to the proper xenomorph. I really liked that once I saw Covenant. Yeah, but
again,
I just
that's studio interference, because the studio, and I think also Ridley Scott kind of just said,
Well,
you know what?
not to check the buyout, the Disney buyout really screwed it up too, because that came along and
We can blame a lot of stuff on that, but I don't think they
Yeah.
would have gone forward with it anyways, because I think they
No.
felt like it was way out of what they understood. And I think Ridley Scott knew exactly where he was going. Maybe not perfectly delivered or executed, but definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys also got to take
knew
into
where it was
factor that he lost his brother during that time, and he was dealing with that, and and then plus he said in hindsight that he would have rather did Blade Runner 2049 than
Well, he
Covenant,
was
so-
still there, and he produced that, and he worked on it. I
Yeah.
think that's why it turned out the way it did. I think it did really well. But I would have loved to see Blade Runner 2049 with him directing it. That would have been really interesting. I mean, I hear they're making a sequel
Yeah.
that he's supposedly supposed to be doing, but I don't know that for sure. Yeah. So are we moving to Romulus?
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. I think that film proved that Danny McBride needs to do more dramas. I think he was fantastic in that movie. I'm a big fan of Danny's, and he just doesn't. I can't remember another drama he's done or horror movie or anything that was just not a comedy. So
Yeah.
Very, very fair. Very fair. Well, speaking of, after everything that we talked about, it is time to talk about Alien Romulus, because 20th Century Studios / Fox / Disney was like, oh yeah, Predator's doing really well. Fuck it, let's bring back Alien again. But we're gonna ditch all the prequel stuff. We're just gonna do our own thing again. I'll start off with my overall thoughts here, because I'm going to be very, very brief. I'll say this, and I'm going to preface this for people, because this movie, for all intents and purposes, it is kind of divisive. Not in the sense of it's not like Last Jedi divisive, but it's divisive in the sense of So here's how I'll set this up. If you were not a huge fan of Prometheus or Alien Covenant, you'll probably like this one. Now, if you thought Covenant and Prometheus were very interesting and you wanted to see where it would go, well, sorry to tell you, you're probably not going to like this one either. That said, this movie's okay. I don't think it's bad by any means, but I think everybody's going to kind of say the same thing. This movie's kind of playing it a little too safe at points. And I understand why they want to go back to basics, quote unquote, but I don't know. It's just okay. I'll talk a little bit more about it when we talk about positives, negatives, but I'll just preface this by saying it has a lot of great things going for it, and then it's just kind of meh. Again, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but just my overall thoughts. It's just okay. Shifty, what are your thoughts?
before I forget, because you touched on something and I forgot to put in my dislikes. You said it played it safe. Yes, it did, and I'll tell you why. Fede Alvarez. When I heard that he was going to direct this film, I immediately jumped back to his remake of Evil Dead, which was one of the goriest fucking things that I've seen. I thought, man, they're going to go overboard with the gore and the brutality in this film. And it is kind of, it is here and there, especially towards the last sequence in the movie. But it doesn't come close to what happens with the backburster in Covenant. It is tame, kind of. It's tame. It's not. I was expecting blood and guts and this and that and everywhere. That's not what we got, and that was really surprising. This is more of a don't breathe in space kind of, because that he did that movie too. Yeah, it was very safe for him. That was weird. I guess Fox was like, don't gross him out too much. Let's save that for the next movie. Maybe, I don't know. But
I think that's a
I'm
bit
gonna
of
do
a
my
Disney side of things too. I think Disney was
yeah.
like, I think that with like, and sorry to interrupt here, but I
That's
think
fine.
with like Deadpool, they kind of know
Uh,
that they can let it go because they know what they're kind of getting into. No matter how many,
yeah,
double entendres and different jokes there were in Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, Disney probably understood more what they were getting into than with this. They're probably thinking, man, monster flicks, gore, chest bursters, all this stuff. They're like, man, this is totally different from that because that's comic book. It's all the blood and gore you might see in that movie is much more just comic booky. It's fun. It's you're like, whoa, they're not real people. Yeah,
yeah.
these, and I think they kind of played it safe and said, yeah, let's just kind of see how we can do. We'll find out with the series and see what they do with the series since it's only streaming. I mean, but yeah, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple of tidbits like I always do. Fede Alvarez,
Wait.
I'm like,
Was Austinator done?
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All
He
right.
passed me the
Go ahead. Sorry.
baton. I had the baton right now. Fede
You?
Alvarez, unlike Neil Blomkamp, took. Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have a big old baton right here. Fede Alvarez, unlike Neil Blomkamp, took the right approach getting this film off the ground as he pitched it directly to Ridley Scott himself around the premise. It would include something so shocking that we've never seen before, and that was likely what happened in the climax with the baby, because that was one of the things. Like, what would happen if an alien impregnated a pregnant chick, which that's kind of the line of thinking there. Fede wanted to wait 7 years for the Romulus sequel, but Fox said nope. It's coming out in 2026 and filming begins in October. Ridley Scott said he was done with the Alien series in June, so if David returns, it's up to Fede, it seems. The popular theory is the colony that Rain and Andy are heading to is that of the Covenant. So maybe that'll pan out. The Facehuggers get so much time in this one. They really should have named it Facehugger Romulus, I think. This was the first film I had seen in theaters since Rise of Skywalker. I can't believe it's been a year almost since that it dropped. It seems like it was just like last month. It was okay, I guess. It had some cool stuff, but it's too much of a greatest hits film. Kind of a soft reboot for new audiences. There's not much to it though. If this was the first Alien film you've seen, it might be mind blowing, but for many fans, we need a bit more to sink our teeth into.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that all you got, Shifty?
Yeah. Well, yeah. For initial thoughts, yeah. I got plenty more.
Okay.
Yeah. So, my turn. Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shifty put it really well. I like the dog moving around in the background. By the way, Austinator.
Oh, thank
I
you.
know how that is. No, I know how that is. My mom's dog does that every time I'm somewhere. It's just all the noise. It's cool. Anyways, so Romulus, or as I like to call it, rhombus, like the shape. Sorry, I guess geometry jokes don't hit very hard here. Never mind.
No, I'm bad at math, Chris, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a visceral homage with its dark roots, placed pretty firmly. I think it does a very good job playing in the place where it's at. This this is happening while we're in the mix between Alien and Aliens. This nice mix that this is somewhere in that universe. I think I told you guys this is why, and I think this is the same for Shifty maybe. I know not so much for you, Austinator, but this is why I liked Andor. Does it have heavy ties to the main storyline? Not well. I mean, Andor does, but this does, but it's going off over there. While main characters are over here going like and all that stuff's going on here, it's over there, and it's showing you that there's the universe is much bigger than this picture in this box right here. That while this is going on, this over here is going on, and we're now seeing an expansion of the universe. That it isn't Ripley who's always getting into these situations. This is happening in other places in the universe. I think that's a very important thing to show. The production, again, I think was done very well. I think it gets a firm grip of the horror. Again, maybe pulls back at places, did not go off the rails. But I think for the first attempt for Disney / 20th Century Studios, I think this is pretty good. But there's Ghostbusters Afterlife that has a ton of homage and callbacks to the other, primarily 84's Ghostbusters. And then there's Romulus that has that same feel, but it seems like it doesn't do anything but that. It's like it's all callbacks. It's like Ghostbusters Afterlife to me actually is its own movie, but I like how they tie it into the other movies, or into the 84 movie. I think it's done very well to find out that, oh wait, they thought they fixed this problem, and this problem was much bigger than they understood. So I think that was kind of cool how Ghostbusters did, but this one is kind of like it wants you to go, oh man, I remember that, or I'm glad to see that. But that's all this movie is. It's callbacks. It's like it doesn't really do anything. There's no real character development. While there are lead characters, there's not really a character that's leading anything. It's just it happens. The movie kind of one foot in front of the other. It's like when you're, I don't know, maybe you guys don't know this, when you're really, 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 really drunk and you're trying to walk home, all you're telling yourself is, I know I got 10 miles to walk, but one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, and you keep going, and eventually you end up where you're supposed to. That's how this movie is. It's like it just does that, and it gets where it's supposed to go, and it doesn't do it because it's telling a story even, really. It just does it. So that's kind of how I feel about this movie. That's my overall thoughts.
All right, very good, very good. Now we're gonna get into our positives, and I'm gonna start with Shifty here. Shifty, what are your positives?
I figured you were gonna do that. You don't like me. Just kidding.
Well, you can go if you want to.
No. Oh no.
Okay.
You go.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Okay. Fede brought back the high-pitched note in the opening Fox fanfare. That was the first time it's been used since Alien 3. I love it. Wasn't as good as Alien 3 one though, but it was pretty good. But I hate that they break up the momentum of putting the Scott-free logo up right after that. I could have done without that. The scene where the Wayland Yutani is cutting the big chap out of the minerals that collected around it when it was in space. That scene with all them guys in the suits. That was so Spielbergian. It was great. I loved it. I wish there was more stuff like that in the film.
I like Spielbergy more than Spielbergian.
Okay. Excuse me. Also, that haunting choir bit of the score they would play during that scene was so good. Another standout piece was the pulsating music used in the climax with the hybrid newborn or whatever it was. That I don't even know what they call that thing. That music, that boom, 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 boom. That music was so good. It was so good. And let me tell you something. I hadn't seen that since release, and it was kind of weird when it played out. I wasn't really freaked out by it, but I had the lights out. I'm watching it on my Kindle here on my kitchen counter, and I'm leaned in with my headphones. And my mother comes in the room behind me, and I did not hear her because I had it blast boom, 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 boom on the headphones. and she's kind of disabled, right? And she has to use the back of the chair to get around and stuff behind me. So I didn't know she was behind me. She shook the back of the chair right when that scene was happening with that creature, and I jumped up and I almost had a heart attack. I'm telling you, I don't get scared by horror movies, but that was the
He hit
perfect mix of
falsetto.
everything.
He hit
Yeah,
falsetto.
I was like, what the hell? Because I turned my head on, what the hell? Yeah. Kaylee Spaney, really good. I still think, and I know there's a big controversy online. I don't hate the girl that plays Ellie on The Last of Us, but I think if you're going by looks, I think she would have been a perfect pick for Ellie on The Last of Us show.
Mhm.
And plus, you got and the other girl that's in this is Isabella Merced. She plays what's her face on The Last of Us. So yeah. Uh, Isabella Merced, I don't know. Also good. This was the first time I saw her in anything, and she's had a huge year with that, The Last of Us and Superman. David Johnson stole the show as Andy. Great performance. I can't wait to see where that goes in the sequel. The usual suspects online, they called the casting of this film woke during uh, uh, due to it being so diversified, and couldn't understand why Fede cast kids so young, because this is something new for Alien. It usually have like older middle aged people being terrorized by the aliens, but it was obvious as these were colony kids, which would be a melting pot of ethnicities. I thought the casting was fine, and it made sense. You had British kids, you had American kids, you had a Chinese girl that had a Latin name. So it was a perfect mix because that's a good representation of where Earth would be and where people in space would be at that time. So I thought it was well done. The scene where Rain tries to get her release papers and they upped her quota on the company on the spot on the computer screen, that might be the best scene in the whole movie right there. Some of the
No,
stuff in some of the stuff that they have during that intro, I mean, it's so good, and you want more of it, but they get straight to the plot. Like within 10 minutes, you're already on board the space station. I just think they could have let things breathe just a little bit because the atmosphere on the colony planet was so good. Yeah, like I said, the Monty colony was cool setting. Would have liked a little bit more into the lived-in grungy retro futuristic look and tech used in the film is great. I mean, this is the stuff that you could actually imagine like the Nostromo actually coming to that colony and like towing stuff away from it because they were into towing and the mining stuff, and it's a great callback. I mean, there's some callbacks like that are great, but others they're way too on the nose. The door locks and the call stations throughout the research station are right out of Alien Isolation, the game that inspired Alvarez to make this film. One of the best moments of this film is Rain asking the other characters if they see something in a certain scene, and when they switch to the shot of what she's talking about, right there, right off to the side, is the save station from Alien Isolation. It just great callback for nerds like me. A lot of the zero G elements in this film, something we hadn't seen outside of that anime we were supposed to review tonight, Alien Monday. That's like the first time we've seen zero G stuff in an Alien film. It took them like 9 films, if you count the AVP films, to tackle zero G scenes in an Alien film, and that was really cool. Especially the
well, tell
action
me
scene.
really quick though, where would you find that? Where would you put that in the other movies? They're on a ship, they're on a planet that they're doing terraforming on, so therefore they would have the gravity. I'm not sure if there was a
Yeah.
spot you could put it yet. I mean, it made sense in this. I'm not saying,
Resurrection.
but I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that as well as the body temperature sequence, I thought that was pretty nifty. Yeah, this was the first film to show us what happens after a chest burster sheds its skin. Deciding it somehow forms a vagina-looking cocoon was certainly a choice. I don't know if I would have done that because it was best quote of the film. There's something in the fucking water. Yeah, that's all I got. There's something in the fucking water.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in the fucking water.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Is that all you got, Shifty? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go next because again, I don't really have a whole lot here because all those movies that's just kind of, meh. Um, the one thing I will give Fede Alvarez is this. I think you could tell he genuinely did his research, and you could tell he genuinely cared when making this movie. Granted, I think he may have cared a little too much, but I do respect what he did with this movie. Yes, it plays it safe, but again, I get why. I understand why they wanted to play it safe this time around. They didn't want to go too experimental with it. They're like, okay, Covenant, Prometheus, they were very divisive. Let's try to do something under the lines of a soft, reboot kind of where we're not really like there's references to things, but it's for the most part it's going to be its own thing, even though it is taking place in between Alien and Aliens. So I did admittedly like some of the callbacks. When we saw the callback to the black goo from Prometheus and Covenant to an extent, I was like, oh shit, wait a minute, whoa, hold on a second, wow, that's still in continuity. Okay, cool. And again, this has never really been an major issue in an Alien movie, but again, visually the movie looks great. I think especially I think around the beginning of the movie where you see the planet where it's looking like you got like the little fiery aspects in the planet, and that looked gorgeous. It's shot really well. The music I thought was great. Again, the xenomorph design, again, they nailed it out of the park with that. There's quite a few sequences that I did enjoy. I did enjoy like the face hugger little chase sequence, especially the one where they're coming out of the water. They're coming out of the fucking water. That I thought was pretty funny. And then that one kill where the xenomorph is just or the thing was spitting out acid at the guy, or I think the pod, I believe, where it's spitting acid at the guy, and he was slowly burning, and then the xenomorph just walks up to him and kills him. I was like, oh shit, that was pretty cool. So you had all that. I mean, the characters, I'll get into the characters later because they're a big negative here. I'm trying to think what else I really liked here because I guess I liked a couple the chase sequences with the xenomorphs. And it was kind of interesting with what they were kind of setting up with oh, we're going to take this black goo that, causes all these problems and turning it into a healing kind of agent because the colonies are dying. I thought that was kind of interesting, but then it was just kind of Rook, who I think they use effects for the guy who played, I believe, oh god,
Ian Holm,
Ash. I mean, it didn't look bad. I maybe it just from what I've seen, but it didn't look terrible.
Well, what you saw was a touched up version. What it landed in theaters was awful, and he got a lot of complaints. So he went back and he fixed that up for the digital release.
Well, all right. Well, I'll give him that then. I mean, at least he made it look better.
Unlike Flash, which kept everything the same.
We don't talk about that, Chris. We don't talk about it at all.
We don't talk about Bruno?
No. We will never talk about it ever. Shh.
Don't talk about Flash.
No.
Oh, I hear the ticking. I hear his eye going
you just hear in the yeah, I'm seething in the background.
Sorry.
No. Andy is the only character that actually has common sense within this movie. So I mean, Andy was kind of cool. I guess like the anti-gravity scene where like she's shooting the aliens in like the zero gravity, and like you see like all like the acid blood kind of spreading around. I thought that looked cool. I'm trying to like I don't really I'll be honest here. I don't really have a whole lot to say because it's one of those movies where there's not a whole lot to say.
Yeah,
So I'm
because there's no story.
Yeah,
There's no story,
no,
especially coming off the last two.
yeah, like this again, like it I do again, like I said before, I think Fede Alvarez, you could tell, really cared and did his research. But when you look at Prometheus and Covenant, which were more story driven and more exposition heavy, this one was more about like the alien, like in the throwbacks and just the more, I guess, the less story. So again, I'll talk about that in a bit, but yeah, that's all we really have. Like there, like other than a few sequences, it looks good, and I guess the acting's pretty solid for what it is. Um, I don't really have much in my positives. Chris,
Hey, for 1 second, I forgot something. I didn't like it on release. I would because it brought back so much bad memories of Alien Resurrection because I hated the newborn. But
Mhm.
I think I really like that sucker in this movie, the
Well,
new hybrid newborn. Because
see,
I
that's the
found out
thing.
it
You
was an actual
said
guy. It's an actual
you
guy,
said
and
that,
I saw.
yeah, you had said that that was something new that we hadn't seen, and the thing is we had.
Yeah,
It's better executed than this, no doubt about it.
yeah,
But
because it brings
it's
back.
a trope that they're trying to incorporate everything from other alien
Yeah,
movies.
but it brings back the look of the engineers kind of in the design, and that was really cool. But when you find out that was actually a dude, he's like a Ukrainian basketball player that's like almost like 8.5 feet tall, and man, and he looks freaky, and that thing looked freaky, and I could have done without
Well,
the egg
the first guy, the first
birthing scene,
xenomorph
but
was an 8 foot tall guy or something.
yeah,
They
yeah,
just went back to
but
what they did in the first one.
yeah, but this was so much better done than the Alien Resurrection. So I didn't like it at first,
Oh
but now it's
yeah.
grown on me, and yeah, yeah, like it.
Um. Okay. So I think you guys mentioned it, visual practical effects. I think practical effects in this movie, it's great to see it. I mean, a lot of the movies have some practical effects, but they really went back to the practical effects. Really felt like they were really striving for that '79 Alien movie all over again with the practical effects. Austin, you brought up the score. I believe the guy who did this was Benjamin Wallfish, something like that. He really is channeling Goldsmith and Horner in this. Uh, it's like, man, they just went through the soundtracks, and I think he sat there and he went through all the soundtracks and just really tried to say, how am I going to make this soundtrack worth it? And so that the soundtrack really helps this movie out a ton because it
Yeah,
feels like it's an alien movie. It feels right. The look again, the visuals make it feel like that. It's grittier. It goes back to that like Alien. It goes back to Alien. It feels gritty, like used, dirty. Nobody cleans up after themselves. Stuff. It's just the stuff that made the first two movies work really well. You get that feel in this. The first act pacing and suspense done really well, really well. The first part of this movie, I think Shifty said that leading up to doing this, it's like it's definitely very good. It's lean, it's efficient, and it manages to genuinely scare you at points. Um, I think the performances for what they were given are done pretty well. David Johnson, I think Shifty mentioned Kaylee Spanny. I think with what they had to work with, they did a really good job. Uh, again, it's going to be kind of one of those double-sided things, though, for me. But yeah, so that's just some of the stuff I liked.
Okay. Now we are going to get into our negatives. I'll let Chris start off this one. Chris, what are your negatives?
Over-reliance and fan service. Just everything about this movie. It just relies too much on your memory of what went on. And as much as Shifty's right about that scene with the birth and the baby or whatever, I'm sorry, it was already played. It's done better, but that's literally like saying we're going to do it better, but it's nothing new. I mean, I think that's the problem you get with this. It's like the xenomorphs, all the stuff you see. It's just heavily dependent on the franchise callbacks and cliches, and there's really no fresh idea in any of this. None.
Well, 0G and the body temperature scenes.
But the body temperature thing has already kind of been brought up in Aliens, not necessarily in the way that they do it here, but it's still kind of done. The 0G thing, it's kind of done. Not to the scale they do in this movie, but it's kind of explored in Alien and Aliens near the end with Ripley and the alien. There's a lot of the open hatch stuff that while the air is rushing out, it's still 0G at that moment. So I don't know. I mean, again, we're reaching, if that's what we're going to call a fresh idea. It's space. Zero gravity in space. Oh my God, I've never seen such a thing. There's a 30-minute scene in 2001 where they're walking around a spaceship in zero gravity.
But they weren't dodging acid pools and 0G.
I get it, but still, it's you're reaching. I'm sorry.
I'm not reaching.
I think you're reaching, but okay.
I got to give him credit.
Okay. Speaking of the xenomorphs, how can we freaking neuter a freaking menace? Literally, that's what they did to the xenomorph in this movie. They neutered it. It is. Yeah. It's underwhelming, and contrary to the callbacks of this movie, constantly callbacks, they don't ever give the xenomorph the callback that it deserves because it feels underwhelming and underutilized. Yeah. That's a big part of it. The final act, very clunky. It's just, and then I will kind of take the CG side of this out because like the CGI, like Shifty said, they went back and cleaned it up. I watched it. It's not great, but it's much better. They did try, and I understand what they were trying to go for there. It's just not very executed when you bring back Ash. I just don't know why they. I don't know. I mean, it's a cool callback, but again, callback. That's all this movie is. It's called to the other movies. AI really was jarring when I first saw it, and it was poorly executed. So the ending is just not what it should have been. Character development and the stakes of this movie. There's no stakes in this movie. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter who lives or dies in this. Really, it doesn't. There's no character development truly. When you talk about what character development is, again, we see Ripley. We know she's a strong character from the get-go because she's on this. She's one of two women in the original movie, right? Just something two women.
Like
kind of.
They got to be pretty. They got to be. Yeah. Okay. Well, but still, they got to be They got to be strong because they're around these dudes and stuff. They're a trucking company and stuff like that. Women have to kind of grow a backbone and deal with it. There's a lot of stuff that's going to get set around them that maybe they don't like, but they're going to deal with it and they're going to give back as good as they get. you don't get that character development because as Ripley goes along, she ends up saying, "I got to take over. I got to do this. I'm scared to death. I'm afraid I'm going to die, but I got to do it." You don't get any of that character development. You don't see it move forward with any one character. And again, it's I'll do that for my final. I'll talk about that. The divisive tone and plot moves. It's a little too rapid in its pacing. There's little room for nuances. There's no place to really throw in a moment of, ooh, wow, cool. I like what they did there. It's just like they do some really cool things, but as soon as they've done it, they're moving on to the next thing. They're like, look, here, we did this. Whoa, let's go. It's like there's no time to really savor it. Like when you see the face huggers and stuff, at the time when you first saw that, it's jarring and it takes a moment to take it in, but they don't give you that moment because they're still on you. Like, yeah, this movie just it does something and it's gone. Let's go. Next thing. What's up? The final twist again didn't resonate with me. It's kind of tone deaf. So, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, very good, very good. I'll go next. Again, negatives. A lot of my issues with this movie, I feel like I think we're all gonna echo off each other, so I'll just keep mine brief. I didn't find the characters to be at all interesting. In fact, I felt them to be kind of bland, boring. They really don't grow as characters. Like, even Andy, who I thought was okay, was just like, okay, whatever. The aliens are kind of underpowered in a sense. Because, like, every time, like, other than, like, a couple really brief despite, like, a couple, like, moments here and there, like, they're all really there to be just fodder, to be killed off, like the people in this movie. But again, it's whatever. That's more like a nitpick, I guess. And like I mentioned earlier, there's not a whole lot of story to be told here. It's just kind of, Like, essentially, this movie's more callback than there really is story. Like I brought up earlier, I think everybody pretty much said it, is Prometheus and Covenant was very heavy in the story and exposition department. This was just very small scale. Nothing really happens. It's just them on the Romulus, and then the aliens show up, and then people die, aliens die, blah, 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 blah. That was it. And then you have the offspring, which, I mean, I guess design was okay, but it was just kind of needless, I felt like. Also, again, throwing the thing out of the airlock, real fucking genius there, but all right, fine. You know, it's the seventh movie, you know. You think, you know, we did kind of have a little creativity in the last one, but, you know, I guess since this movie's a whole callback, I guess we'll do the whole callback with the airlock thing.
Well, it did have a little bit more pizzazz to it because you had the rings that they were crashing into the rings of the planet, and you had the particles and all that stuff, and I don't know, it was a little bit more flashy this time around.
No, it was flashy, but it's still the same point though, is that it's still going out of an airlock. So it was fine, but it was just kind of like again, like even with my positives, like the negatives are just very, very small and very low because there's not a whole lot here for me to be like, wow.
Listen. If an airlock works, why change it, right? If that's what kills it, why change it?
I mean, that's true, but at the same time, we're 7 movies in. I mean, you could at least do something a little different here. Sure,
next
it's a little flashy.
Next time we'll have them roll down the window instead of open up an airlock.
Well, they're going to be on a planet in the next movie, so it's going to be different. So,
the next series. It's not a movie, which I'm going to question that. We're going to watch this.
No, I'm talking about Romulus, the second.
Oh,
second Romulus.
they are going to bring it on Earth also, like they were supposed
No,
to
no,
do in
no,
the
no,
first
no.
one?
They're going to Yavaga, the colony on Yavaga.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll see.
I can't wait to see an alien Earth. The alien somehow find its way onto a ship and getting thrown out the airlock. That's the only way I will not
No, we'll roll
accept.
down the window.
All right, fair enough. It'll go out the window. Yeah, that's really all I got for my negatives. Again, there really isn't a whole lot. Like, I love how we saved this movie for last, where there's like nothing to talk about, essentially. So,
Well, it's like I said with Shifty and the song. It's not like this is a bad movie. It's just
no,
you watch it and you're like, okay.
Yeah,
it's a
Sorry, go
movie.
ahead.
that's it. It's like most Marvel movies for me. I just watch it and I was like, yeah, okay.
It's like staring at a wall. It's like it's a nice wall. It's painted nicely, but well, what are you giving me here?
Somebody took some time on that. But
It's like, oh, it's a little chipped
it's like
here,
going
you know?
into an art museum and seeing somebody stare at the same at a picture, like a painting, and then you come back like 2 hours after going around the whole place and they're still staring at it, like you're like, dude, if you haven't figured it out yet. Anyways,
I really hope Fede kind of took to heart the feedback for this film, because he was all over Twitter right after the movie came out, and I got in on the comments right as he was posting them, so he's bound to saw what I posted, and he's like, "How do y'all like the movie?" And I posted that meme from The Wire of McNulty where he's got his hand and he's waving his hand like, "Eh." So you know, I was like, yeah, I was like, I hope you do better next time.
I mean, the thing is, he had a nice foundation. I think he's like a nice foundation for himself.
Yeah.
I just hope he improves on the formula so he can do better for next time. Because, like we said, it's not a bad movie. Like, it's not like, oh my god, this is so unwatchably bad.
No.
Like,
No,
it was.
It's not.
It was
It's
fine.
Just there. It's just
Yeah.
there.
It's just there. Shifty, do you have any negatives?
Yeah, I do. First, the ad breaks on Hulu suck shit compared to HBO Max. They're way too long. They're way too fucking long. HBO Max has like 3 like short commercials, but on
it's also
Hulu, you
because
guys
Paramount or Hulu is TV based. HBO is a movie service. So,
But yeah, well, I'm watching Sopranos, and their commercial breaks are real short. But the commercial breaks on Hulu, fuck, they're like, I mean, it's not as long as they are on TV, but you're sitting through like 3 pharmaceutical ads for stuff I would never need, and it's terrible. Uh, the fact that this is the type of movie folks respond to and not the prequels, which have interesting stories and things to actually speculate about, it kind of it sucks. Romulus is a whole lot of nothing and way too much fan service moments, even more blatant than the Force Awakens. Oh look, cornbread reference. Oh look, the bird toy. Oh look, the scene where Hicks teaches Ripley how to use a rifle. Oh look, he said, "Get away from her, you bitch." And then it just stacks on and on and on and on throughout the film. It's an amusement park ride deal where folks jump from action set piece to action set piece with little room to breathe. The effects on Rook really it sucked. It was an animated puppet, and then they overlaid CG on top of it, and then they had like an AI voice of the actor that they got permission from their family. It just did not look good in the theater, and it still doesn't look good. I just don't understand why they keep pumping out stuff like this when they have all sorts of people on YouTube that does deep fake stuff, and it looks great. And they even hired a dude for Lucasfilm hired a dude that fixed the Luke scene in Mandalorian season 2 finale. They need to get more people. Just use deep fake technology. Quit trying to screw around. It doesn't look as good.
But deep
there's
fake
regular people.
is basically AI. It's just they try to rush
Yeah,
through it. I mean, that's all it is. They rush through it.
it
Um, I mean,
it, it looks better though.
what you don't
It
think
looks
Tarkin looked good?
Tarkin Tarkin looked good, but Leia did not.
No, well,
They
that was last second. That was the last second thing. They
yeah,
didn't even have that last part in. And then when they ended up putting Darth Vader in, they're like, we have to give Darth Vader more time than the one scene he was in. So they added that whole last part, and then they threw her in. And
but
yeah, that was horribly done. And they
I
should go
just
back and redo that for sure. God.
I don't know why
Anyway, sorry. Go
they
ahead.
even. I know that they didn't want to use Henriksen's character, the Bishop, or in this one they wanted to have a call back to the first film, but I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. They could at least give us. I mean, it would have been a nice tie-in if they used Fassbender, like another version of Fassbender's model robot. But
Probably would have been
yeah, I don't
better.
know. Yeah, wasn't crazy about them rehashing the client. Well, I said that already for Resurrection, but I do appreciate the sequence because I found out about who played it and all that stuff. Um, yeah, that's mostly I've already covered most of all my dislikes a while ago. So yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Time to talk about our final thoughts and final grades. You know what? I'll probably start here. I'll preface this by saying if you liked Covenant and Prometheus, you're probably not gonna like this. If you if you didn't like Covenant or Prometheus, you'll probably like this. However, if you've seen all these movies, it's just kind of okay. Like, it's not a bad movie. I want to preface that. I don't think it's terrible. I just don't think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think Shifty said it best. If this is the first Alien movie you've seen, you're gonna love this. I think if you're into these types of movies. But when you've seen all these Alien movies, yeah, the callbacks are nice. Just like Chris has a really nice hat on. Um, but it's just okay. And I think that's the nicest thing I could say about it is it's just okay. It's not offensive. It doesn't anger me. I'm not in love with it. Like, I'm not praising it to. I'm not saying, "Oh my God, Fede Alvarez is the god of Alien." Like, no, it's not. It's not that serious.
No, we know that.
Um,
We know it's really Scott.
no, we know it's Joss Whedon. It's all right. We've
Oh,
all we can't lie to
yeah,
ourselves.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, um. I mean, I'm gonna say this unironically. I liked Covenant more than this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that might be controversial to some people, but I thought it was a lot better. I mean, I liked this more than 3 in Resurrection, but
Mm.
this is more with Prometheus with me. I'm just gonna go flat C. It's okay. Like, it's not. It's just kind of in the middle. Like, there's really nothing. It's like the sad thing is there's not a whole lot like wrong with it to where it's like, oh, this is a bad movie, but there's not a whole lot going for it that's like, oh, it's a great movie. It's just okay. I think it's I if I think that's really that's probably much my closing arguments, just like my starting thing on it is it's okay. So I give it a C. Shifty, final thoughts and grades.
I think maybe once the sequel comes out, just like Covenant, it'll improve like the previous one. So, like Covenant, it kind of improves Prometheus when you watch that back to back or whatever. Maybe where they go with the next one will improve your thoughts on this one. I don't know. It's okay. There's some cool bits, but it's kind of dull. It's really poorly edited in some instances in the action scenes and stuff. I even in that final sequence when they do the airlock stuff, it's kind of it's kind of weird. It's some weird cuts. It's rushed to hell. I think it's honestly pretty boring outside. The characters are pretty boring outside of Andy. I'd rank it the second worst in the mainline series of Alien films. It's not bad, but it's I don't know. Resurrection is the only one I really have real gripes with. This one's just okay or whatever. I give it a C plus. Um, yeah, the Resurrection and AVP Requiem are just bottom of the barrel. Uh, yeah, this is kind of there. It's just there. It's just the movie's just there. For the sequel, if they bring back David, it would be cool. If he's become some sort of cult leader over the colony that he
Isn't
had or
there?
whatever.
Isn't there a? There's a rumor he's going to be in it, isn't there?
It's speculation at this point. They don't shoot it till October, so we won't really know.
Oh,
Yeah, but I really hope he's in it. Even though what I want is something totally different than what we're probably going to get. But if he is in it, it would be cool if he's like a cult leader of some sort, and he's like swayed the colony into like some sort of cult by using tactics with I've got these aliens here and I would like it if he's like if it's something like a Wicker Man setting and they get there and it's everything is just what is going on and it's like
interesting.
the Wicker Man. Yeah, that would be really great. And then they're doing like sacrificial like stuff with the aliens and stuff instead of not the bees, it's like not the space huggers, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Very true. Chris, final thoughts and final grades if Shifty is done.
I am done. I'm
All
done.
right.
I'm really surprised that this is going to go this way. I think this movie was well crafted, visually intense. The sci-fi horror is still there. I feel a lot of that, which just is a direct callback, and it nails the aesthetics, and delivers some pretty killer moments, some pretty kick-ass stuff. But it struggles for identity. It leans again, like I said, more on the legacy more than originality. But when you talk about things like 3 and you talk about Resurrection, if I'm going to tell somebody what to skip over, this isn't going to be one of them. I think it fits well into it. Again, it's not necessarily supposed to move anything forward or come up with anything new. This is, again, happening over there. The main thing, the main characters that we've learned to love so far are right here. And that's over here. So this is something just showing you that this thing isn't just here, it's over there. So it expands, but it's not designed to be the lead of anything. So where it lacks, it's worthy. It's worthy of being in the franchise. I think it's worthy more than some of the other movies. It just doesn't fully escape the shadow of the good, like the really good movies. It's there, and I think Shifty said that it's there. I want more out of it. But I get enough out of it to watch it and to get enjoyment out of it, but just not enjoyment in the way of, did I leave the theater thinking I want to go back and rewatch it? No, I waited until it came out on Disney Plus, and I watched it there again. Saw that they cleaned up the AI a little bit, and I walked away from that viewing about the same way. It's just like, okay, it's not. It's so if I'm sitting there to say which of the 9+ movies or whatever, which of these movies I'm going to watch, this is not going to be number 1 on my list. It's probably 5th or 6th on the list. But I'm going to watch it if I'm doing a marathon or something. If I want to watch all of them together, then I'm going to want to watch this. It's going to fit in somewhere. Maybe I change where that is because maybe I want to go and do it more in a timeline. than in the order of release. But so because of all that, I'm really surprised. I'm going to give it the highest grade of all three of us. I'm going to give it a B minus.
Oh.
Okay.
I think it just nudges out of the C plus realm and gets to B minus. It's a very low B minus.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I mean, B minus, C plus, they're kind of like in the same realm, kind of like me and Shifty were talking about last week. They're kind of the same thing, but it's not like
when you get that grade on your term paper and it's a C plus, you're like, when it's a B minus, you're like, it's like, oh man, a C plus, god damn it, I'm on the low end of that B A range. And you get B minus, you're like, man, I apparently got a B. It's like there's no good to the either one. It's just like,
yeah, exactly.
As opposed to when you get a D minus, and you're like, well, yes, I didn't fail. Sorry.
It's like it's that weird dichotomy. It's like you get a D minus, like, oh, thank God I didn't fail. Then you get a C, but you get a C plus, like, oh, god damn it, like,
fucker, I put so much time into this. It is how it is. That D minus can be saving. It's like, oh, thank God, because you know when you're going to get that. It's like you walk into that test and you're thinking, man, I'm going to fail this thing. I'm just going to. So you're right. You're just sitting at home. You're like, fuck it, it's over. And then you get it back. You're like, D minus? Really? Wow, cool. I didn't fail.
Exactly. But with that being said, that officially wraps up the Alien movies for now on the channel.
It does.
It does.
I mean,
I should point out something. If you want a much better Alien story that's set between Alien and aliens, and I mean this, Austin, go out and get you a copy or just download it of Alien Isolation and play that sucker. Turn out the lights, put the headphones on, and play it, and it's going to be a good time. Good time.
I have it installed on my PlayStation. I bought it on sale, but I haven't had a chance to get around to it. So I will definitely check it out when I can.
It was the Alien game we all wanted.
They're making a sequel.
Are they?
Finally. Yep.
Cool.
Very cool. Very cool. With that said, though, we will be back next discussing Alien with Alien Earth. That's going to be another few weeks of content. So, hey. Yeah, I mean, hey, the channel's going to be alive for another few weeks. So, hey.
7 more weeks?
You get 7 more weeks of the channel. After that, I can't guarantee that this channel's going to survive, but
we could do a retrospective of the Andor season 1 and 2 on your channel.
No.
We're doing Starship Troopers. Goddammit! After the show's over, we're doing Starship Troopers
because I haven't watched that for a long time, and I'm pretty sure I'll still want to trash it. But
that would be interesting.
Coming Tuesday. What the heck?
What?
Oh, okay. No, I was looking at the Disney Plus and going to Alien Earth. It says prepare for Alien Earth. And then because I saw on here, it says Alien, and then it says prepare for Alien Earth. I was looking to see when they're saying it's going to come out. And when I saw Alien Earth, I thought that was the promo for it. And then underneath it, it says rated R 1979. I'm like, what? It's the movie that they're talking about.
I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank Zach and Guy Scar for showing up. I did do a poll to see if anybody liked Alien Romulus. 33% said they loved it, and 66% said it was meh.
I can see that.
I can also see that. With that said, I'll let everybody go around the panel. I'll start with Chris. Where can they find you at, sir?
Find me on the Real Review 3000 and on Honstar YT, Chaos Central. Sunday nights right now is about the only stream that I'm running on my channel, but I'm thinking of other things I'm going to be doing soon. Trying to get everything back together to do my shows and stuff. But Sundays we do what we call the weekly wrap up. We get together, play Jackbox games with the dub, things like that. I believe we'll be going tomorrow. I don't know yet because I'm having to reinstall Windows 11 again because when I installed it last week, I used my company's Microsoft account that I have, my Microsoft account with my company, and it kind of did an alien job to my computer because it started taking over everything from the inside out.
Oh.
And now it's basically a company computer, and I have to go find the stuff that I had on there, move it back into my singular drives, and redo everything again. So yay! So I'm probably going to be doing that tomorrow. If I can get to it tonight and start flipping it tonight, I will. But I'll probably be doing that tomorrow morning. And if I do it tomorrow morning, I just don't know where I'm going to be at with downloading all the programs and stuff that I need to do the stream. So we may not be doing it tomorrow. But my intention is to definitely be doing it if we can. Because I mean, it should be able to get it done, but should be not happening.
I mean, you can take a break from getting screwed in Murder Mystery Party.
Oh, God. Jeez, every time. Hey, look, you're out front. You're out front. You're out front. Fucking 2 questions before the end. Boom, somebody gets up in front of me, and then I tie them, and I get right there, and it's the guy next to me that gets it, not me. Why? I don't know. Fucking A.
I hate it when that happens.
I know, Brush this.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. All right. Shifty, where can they find you at, sir?
Well, everything Chris said about Sunday night. Then on Thursday nights, 8:30, on Tom and the Guinea Pig Collective and Vinny Art, is the Collectible Pass Toy Show. 3 hours of talking toys from the 60s all the way up to today. And this week, I've got a bunch of clearance out toys I picked up on a massive toy hunt yesterday. Tune in to see what I got.
Very cool. Very
That's it.
cool.
That's
Alrighty. You can find me on my channel where
are they going to find us on a special wrestling rant sometime this week? Maybe.
Possibly.
Okay.
We are gonna. There might be a possible wrestling rant this week because the certain company, which I won't spoil for now, has been really their PR somehow dropped. They lost all their goodwill in the span of 8 months. That it's I have to talk about it because it's genuinely anger inducing. But besides that, you can find me for these Alien Roundtables. Like I said, we're going to be doing Alien Earth next week, I think, because that's when it starts. I don't know. I got all my dates mixed up. But we got that going on, and I'm pretty much everywhere when I can. I'm a busy guy, so, I mean, I can't just be everywhere anymore. So occasionally you can find me on the Hangout on Wednesdays on Guy Scar's channel, The Basco Scenario. You could find me on sometimes on Robert Storm's channel for Storm's Nation. When I can on Sundays, I try to make it to the weekly wrap-up, but a lot of times I'm either really tired or I'm just busy with other things. So I try to make it to places where I can. I got everybody's channels in the description. And with that being said, I think that does it for tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching. This is the Oscinator, signing out.
Game over, man.
Game over.
Game over. Game over.